This is Unit 303, Project Assessment. Let's talk about ABC Learning Backing Up Process. ABC Learning backs up to the network attached storage, and we should comply to the rules, and no one should be able to make copies on personal devices or USB sticks. Copying files for the backup only to the legitimate network attached storage. In some cases, it could be NAS, network attached storage, or SAN. There should be rules assigned to the resources depending on the role. There should be a principle of the least privilege. So the person who needs to do the tasks could be able only to reach those resources which are necessary for him or for her to do the tasks. And only people who are eligible to access the data should be authenticated and authorized to access the data. There should be also accounting, so we should know who and when accessed the data. Question: what are the data protection techniques? Data protection techniques, I would like to put three main things. First, principle of the least privilege. So only people who need the data will be able to access the data. AAA, authentication, authorization, and accounting. So in order to access the data, users should be able to should be authorized and authenticated to access the data, and there should be also accounting who and when accessed the data. And the third one is to protect data's availability and integrity. There should be regular backups. So even when our system, and the backup should be stored not on the same server. So if there is a ransomware, for example, the data which was stored on the server all will be encrypted, but the backup should not be encrypted. It should be stored somewhere else, and preferably there should be some storage which is on site, and another type of storage that should be in the cloud. So it will provide redundancy and fault tolerance. What are the best ways to educate the employees, to educate the team? The best way to educate the team is to provide them a course or a training about backing up and sharing the files. What stage of the data management is the most vulnerable point for the data security? So we have, in data management stages, we have first one is data creation. Second, data storage. Of course, when data is stored, then someone could also try to access the data. But the most vulnerable, in my opinion, is data sharing, because data is constantly being shared, and and it's something that no amount of restrictions will be able to stop sharing. So employees, users, customers, executives, board members, they all share data in the platforms they are provided to do by any different types of methods. Therefore, data sharing is the most vulnerable point in unmanaged and poorly managed data lifecycle. The people who share data via unofficial media, the higher the risk that it's not compliant with governance and legal or policy regulations. So it's important to provide to the team course about backing up and about sharing the data. What are the stages of data management lifecycle? First, it's created. Data creation consists of data capture and data acquisition. There are types, we define types of data used across business, and we defined what is the data used for, who can use it, and also we specify a sensitivity of the data. Next, data storage. When we think about data storage, we also need to think about data backup. We need to create a backup plan. Data storage implements data redundancy and security strategies, as well as storing data in such a way that it can't be accidentally alerted. Data use. When it comes to data use, the rules define who and what can use the data. If we set up phases 1 and 2 correctly, stage data creation and data storage, if they are correctly, phase of data use is relatively straightforward. Users and employee roles map to data sensitivity rules. So, for example, we assigned the rules for different folders using Windows restriction rules. I also know how to provide it using Windows servers, how we can write down all the rules and policies. So we assigned particular rules and policies to particular people, and they can non-authorized people cannot access the data. Data sharing is stage 4. As we said, it's the most vulnerable part, and the more people who share data via unofficial ways, the higher is the risk. Stage 5 is data archiving. It is about storing data after the active life. That is, users and systems won't need the data day to day, and while we want to access it ad hoc for reporting for analytics, it's okay to take a while to get the data. For data archiving files, for example, I studied AZ900. If we store it in Windows Cloud, in Azure, for that to store it, it's quite cheap, but to retrieve it, we need longer time to retrieve the archived data and to pay more for it. And stage 6 of data management lifecycle is data destruction. It is the final stage of data management. There need be a strategy for destroying active data. from phase 2 as well as archived data from phase 5. Thank you.